Hello, it is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Tuesday crossword today, which means we're going to be solving an early week themed, hopefully fairly approachable crossword. I'm going to be solving it normally today, so no speed solving as yesterday, just an ordinary crossword solve. And this ordinary edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Michael, Aaron Spiller, and, as always, the indomitable Showmaster and the incorrigible Sheeler Beeler. So thank you so much to the four of them. They're benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, which means they support this channel. They make it an ongoing part of my daily work, for which I'm very grateful. Thanks to those four. Thanks to everybody who backs the channel via the Patreon campaign. If you'd like to do so, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the description field link. You'll find there the bonus videos available to patrons, and for benefactors like those four, the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses official mug. Thanks so much to those four and to everybody who backs the channel. Thanks as well if you subscribe on YouTube, which is a big help. I'd appreciate it if you'd consider doing so if you enjoy these videos. There's also the Daily Solve Discord chat server you can join. Nice friendly chat community linked in the description field. So with all that said, let's get on to today's crossword, which is a construction by Daniel Bodley, who's constructed a good handful of crosswords for the New York Times. It was edited once again by Joel Faliano. It's a Tuesday puzzle. It will have a theme. Let's find out what it is, and let's start solving. Florida Panther, e.g. I don't know. I don't know what that's referring to. I don't know is that a nickname for a creature? I suppose it's not. If it were, P would be capitalized. I guess it's just an example of a panther that can be found in Florida, but I don't know what it is. Diplomat's success. A deal or a pact. Pact sounds more diplomatic than deal to me. Let's try it and see if it works. Woman in a blank. Degas painting. Woman in a tub. Sounds pretty plausible to me. That sort of sounds. I could sort of imagine that as a Degas painting. Let's see. Rental for a DIY mover. U-Haul. Yes. Okay. Good. It is tub. Because U-Haul rents trucks, so DIY, do it yourself. So you might rent one of these. Oh, is this a puma? Florida Panther, e.g. Is a puma a panther? I didn't even know that. It seems like it must be right based on the four letters starting with PU. Let's try it and see. Black mamba is a snake. There we go. Do certainly recognize that one. Tallest president in U.S. history, familiarly. Abraham Lincoln, famously very sort of tall and gaunt. So there we go. It's impressive that he's still the tallest. I guess we don't really have very many incredibly tall presidents. Let's see. Noted whale watcher of literature. Oh, right. Ahab, yeah, from Moby Dick. There we go. Not just a watcher. Let's see. Equipment for zooming. Camera lens. I mean, if you have a zoom lens, it would be equipment for zooming. You'd need that. You'd need the lens to support it unless it was a digital zoom, so it's probably right. What about this? Lovely lady in a Beatles hit. Lovely Rita, meter maid, goes the Beatles song. And then with 24 across, some summer coffee orders. Iced, looks like iced lattes. There we go. It is finally, it's been a long time coming, but it is finally here in the UK the weather is getting such that you might actually order an iced latte. It's been a rainy winter. I think something like the rainiest in a century or something. Something a kid's menu might double as. They mean the, right, I see. I was thinking of the menu in the sense of the kind of list of food in a conceptual sense, but no, it's the actual physical menu on which it's printed, which can double as a coloring sort of mat. What would you call this? A placemat. Okay, right. Okay, there we go. I see. Because you read it, but it's also sits on the table and you put the food on top of it. So it's not the coloring part that ended up being particularly relevant. Anyway, Inside with Jen Blank, MSNBC show. There's someone named, I think Jen Psaki or Jen Psaki or something like that. That might be this person. I'm not sure. Boot bottoms are soles of shoes. Okay, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is this. It sort of rings a bell. I couldn't even tell you who this person is offhand, but let's look at this. Developed in a way. Aged, right? Okay, so something might develop through age, as in an organ, living being might. Enter a username and password is to log in. Your family is your kin, your relations, and then cricket, e.g., is an insect, right? Okay. I was trying to think because of solving cryptic crosswords. I've had to sort of take on board some cricket terminology. Cricket, in that case, meaning the sport. And my first thought here was, oh, maybe cricket inside, because there's the inside leg. There's a whole thing about. There's all this cricket terminology that's sort of bouncing around in my brain now. So that was my first thought, was inside, which makes no sense, even if it were referring to cricket, the sport. But anyway, the answer is insect. Conditional word encoding could be else, as in if this, do this, else do that. Expire, to leave? No, don't think that's right. Book jacket profiles. Book jacket profiles. Bios, you might have a short biography of an author on the book jacket. The Crimson Tide to fans. I've seen this enough in the crossword to know this is Bama for Alabama, University of Alabama, whose team is the Crimson Tide to fans. So there we go. The main characters in The Bourne Identity and Memento, notably, they're amnesiacs. In a very different sort of way. In The Bourne Identity, the character has kind of a long-term amnesia that sort of stops at a certain point back in time, whereas in Memento, the character is sort of forgetting everything past about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, I believe. Okay, I was actually reading about Memento for some reason the other. I don't remember why. I sort of was one of those things where I just was clicking on links in Wikipedia one after another, and for some reason I ended up on the page about Memento. And apparently, a number of psychiatrists or psychologists who study the sort of short-term retrograde amnesia, or whatever it is that the character in Memento possesses, are saying that was the most accurate depiction of that condition they'd ever seen on screen, which I thought was fascinating and which I would not have expected. Anyway, widescreen theater option is IMAX. There we go. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, who directed Memento, he is a big proponent of shooting on IMAX, and I think is essentially single-handedly responsible for the rise of IMAX as a format for fictional film. It was really designed for documentary and science-oriented film, but it's had a rise in dramatic scripted film, I think largely due to Christopher Nolan. Anyway, the last O of YOLO. This YOLO stands for you only live once, so once is the answer. Computer debut of 1984, the Mac, the Apple Macintosh computer. And rail splitters tool would be an axe. There we go. Which can be spelled, by the way, without the E. This came up in a crossword, and someone was flabbergasted by this in a comment recently. And they thought it was a mistake, or they thought that I was cheating because I didn't put the E on the X or something. But no, it can spell it either way, especially in American English. It can be spelled without the E. But it does, I think, to most of us look better with the E. Okay, fill in teacher informally. A substitute. Kind of connector for a VCR cable would be... Oh, RCA. Yes, it's what colors are they? They're red, yellow, and blue, maybe? Are they? I can't remember. But anyway, they're that's that kind of cable that has 3 components for, I think it's for video left channel and right audio channel. Anyway, don't really encounter those much anymore. But you did on a VCR. Expire, to lapse as in a subscription to a magazine, say. And to blink or jump, say, would be to react, maybe, to something startling that's happened. Subject of a caution sign on a park bench would be pet something. What was this? This was also asterisked, I think. Equipment for zooming camera lens. That turned out to be right. I don't know what we're getting at yet with the theme. Pet something? I'm not sure. Here we have vegetable whose name means to eat in some West African languages. Oh, that's interesting. The yam, presumably. Like about 4% of human blood. Type something, type AB maybe? That's the only two-letter one I can think of. I'm sort of under-educated on blood types, I have to admit. Egyptian viper is the asp. It's very commonly referenced with respect to ancient Egypt. And nest for a raptor, an eyrie maybe? So a sort of cliffside nest, a kind of clifftop nest. It's probably the answer. Let's look at this. Shocking thing found on a farm. Electric fence. There we go. So it's shocking in the sense of an electric shock. Okay, there we go. So I don't, camera lens, electric fence, I don't see yet what they have in common. I guess we'll find out eventually. Gets thinner. If someone gets thinner, they slim down maybe, so slims down. That looks plausible. The swinging blank, robe-wearing mascot for the Padres. The Padres used to be the team in San Diego, which is where I was, my adolescent years were in San Diego. But they're not anymore. Where did they go? I think they went to LA maybe. But anyway, maybe somewhere else. Anyway, the swinging friar. I remember that character, sort of cartoon monk. Okay, a blank went by. Classic children's book. A fly went by. Oops. Of course, yes, there we go, straightforward. Challenge for an underachiever, a limbo bar. Are you playing a game of limbo where you bend backwards underneath the limbo bar. Feature of the Rolex logo. Rolex watches have, I think the logo is, it's a little crown. Never really thought about that before, but that's also the name of an element of a watch, the crown that you rotate to either wind it or set it. Get 21 in blackjack, say, is to win. And Blank Outfitters clothing chain, Urban Outfitters is the name of a clothing chain. And your vibe could be your aura, maybe, that you sort of radiate. Someone who's more sardonic could be wryer. They can have a more wry, dry sense of humor, maybe. And wet paint is the sign on the park bench. Did not see that at all. So camera lens, wet paint, electric fence. I haven't a clue what this is about. Hungry. Hungry. Not sure. AC measure, BTU, which I think stands for British Thermal Unit, a unit of measuring heat or energy. I guess heat is a form of energy. Anyway, I think that's the answer. Major muddle is a snafu, so that's derives from U.S. military slang for situation normal, all fouled up, or something more emphatic than fouled. And then hungry, if you're hungry, you're unfed. There we go. Founder of the American Shakers. I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure the answer. Drug whose name can be found in spells danger. Well, it's appropriately enough LSD, which can be found in the sense that it's literally spelled out in the words spells danger. So LSD. So it's very nice in the sense of spells. It's actually spelled out here. And then obviously you could say LSD. Well, it's dangerous if not taken with care. So it all works out. Anne Lee. I'm not sure who this is or what this is about. Issa of American Fiction. So she was in the film American Fiction, Issa Rae, which I really enjoyed, and that's the answer. Okay, founder of the American Shakers. Yeah, Anne Lee, I guess. I don't know. Like zirconium on the periodic table. 40th or something? I don't know the atomic number of zirconium, but it would fit. I don't know if that's the answer, though. O'Rourke of Texas politics. Oh, Beto O'Rourke is the name of a U.S. politician. So I think this might be the answer just because I can't think what else would make sense in here. 40. It must be that. 40. We couldn't fit 40 anything else in there, so that'll be it. Emphasize. To stress something would be to emphasize it. Poison shrub. Poison sumac is a poison plant, and it would fit in 5 letters starting with an S. Ceramics and sculpture for 2 are example of arts. So there we go. Dressy attire might be a suit, and an accessory for dressy attire could be a tie, maybe. That's very nice. Suit and tie. That's a nice little 1-2 punch there. NBA star Curry. Yeah, it looks like it's correct because Steph Curry certainly is a famous NBA star, famous basketball player. And where Moses received the 10 Commandments is Mount Sinai. There we go. Ursula's slithery pets in The Little Mermaid. She has eels, as I recall from that film. I remember she and her pets absolutely terrified me when I was a child when that film first came out. The original animated one, I mean. Well, original Disney animated one. The gemstone Olympic Australis, for one. It must be an opal. I've seen this referenced before. I don't think I would have remembered it was an opal specifically, but I have seen the name referenced. Oh, right. Here's the end of our revealer. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning of it. With 67 and 68 across, MC Hammer lyric, okay, it'll be Don't Touch This, that applies to each of the answers to the start clues. Okay, I definitely didn't have any idea about that. But the famous MC Hammer lyric is Don't Touch This. And, boy, it's so funny how there were acts like MC Hammer, and then I guess it kind of, I guess it's just the sort of definition of a one-hit wonder. He probably wasn't a one-hit wonder. That's probably unfair. But nonetheless was so huge at the time. That song was enormous and just kind of really does not feel like it has much cultural footprint anymore. Anyway, so these are things not to touch. Don't touch the camera lens. You'll smudge it, leave a fingerprint. Don't touch the wet paint. It's messy. Don't touch the electric fence. It's dangerous. Don't touch the limbo bar. You'll lose the game. And then what's this? Don't touch the crime scene. You'll disturb the integrity of the evidence. There we go. And then here we have collapsible camping convenience as a cot. So where to look for fingerprints is the crime scene. Actor Lou of Barbie, Simu Liu is the name of an actor. There we go. 2016 Olympics host informally is Rio. There we go, Rio de Janeiro. And to set one's sights on something is to aim at it. 1 across for 1. Oh, Bobcat. This isn't win. What was this? I didn't even look at this. Why did I put an I in there? Get 21 in blackjack, say. I know it is win. Oh, no, it isn't Bobcat. It's Big Cat. Right, okay. Did I look at, I don't remember even reading this. It's the answer. Get 21 in blackjack, say. Win. Wow, that is surreal. I don't like that sensation. Okay, well, there we go. The answer is Big Cat. A puma is a big cat. And a small dent in a car, for instance, is a ding. If you're still competing, you're in it. You're not yet out. And lots is a ton. Fuzzy fruit could be a kiwi, which is, of course, has a fuzzy skin. And then dog show organization. Oh, I think it's AKC, American Kennel. Oh, it's not Don't Touch This. It's Can't Touch This. Sorry about that. For all I said about how pervasive that song was, I misremembered its lyric. But there we go. So the dog show organization is AKC, and then La Hermana de Mama is Tia. So the sister of a mother is an aunt, Tia. And then Fuzzy Fruit is a kiwi, and there we go. That was the Tuesday crossword. And we've got our Can't Touch This theme, which I misremembered. Sorry about that. If you were yelling at me through the screen when I saw it and immediately typed it in incorrectly. Misremembered it and then typed it in accordingly. And we have 5 things not to touch. It's true, you shouldn't touch these things. The camera lens, the wet paint, the electric fence, the limbo bar, and the crime scene. And there we have it. That was a nice, I was going to say a nice straightforward theme, which it sort of was in the sense that you don't need to worry about the theme in order to solve them. You just answer the clue, put in the answer, and then eventually you get to the end. But it wasn't obvious to me, actually, what the nature of the theme was. And it was interesting in that we have a very unusual location for the revealer. Crime scene. The position of crime scene is where we might ordinarily expect the revealer to be found. In this case, it spans the entirety of the bottom row, which is unusual but nice. It's very visually very sort of clean. Anyway, there we go. That was the Tuesday crossword. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow for the mid-week, mid-difficulty Wednesday puzzle, so join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Tuesday. Take care.